Chaps, I've invited Karl. Actually, you've invited me. It's your house, isn't it? And we've known each other for over 20 years.
Yeah, it's a hell of a long time.
It's mental, like from the old days and all this kind of stuff. That's a different topic for a different video.
Yeah.
Especially if my son watches this.
Yeah, exactly.
And but we had some good times. But we kind of restarted chatting. I don't even know if that's the right word, but whatever, I've said it now.
We've reconnected.
That's it. Mostly because of your son.
Yeah.
And I remember like thinking, how do you deal with that?
Yeah.
And whatever else. Well, I don't want to preach on your.
No, go on.
No, do your thing. Like, what are we chatting about first? Tell us your story.
I think what reconnected it, obviously, because I was posting things about my son, and my son in February was he was diagnosed for some really rare type of leukemia.
Yeah.
And it just totally shattered me. Even now, it's turned me into an emotional wreck. I can't look at things like that I used to laugh at.
Yeah.
I can't look at things that are slightly upsetting without bawling my eyes out. And I think that whole thing like that is purely because for years I've never spoke about anything that I've been through in life.
Yeah.
I'm much like I'm old school.
Yeah.
Men don't talk.
Yeah.
They don't understand things. They don't want people to understand them because they don't want people to know.
Yeah.
And it's only the last few months in life that I've really got a grip of what's going on in my head. So yeah, that's what done it. It's the pure thought of death of a family member because that's all you can think about.
Well, I think it's even, I don't know, I don't really know how this is going to sound. When it's your own child, I've got 2 kids myself, that's my worst thought of losing a child. Everyone else would get over it.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to have but I'm not going to lie about it either. That's the one type of death. When Ben was killed, whatever else, that hit me like a ton of bricks. But I think losing a child would be 20 times, 100 times worse.
The thing is, we're surrounded by death.
Yeah.
And so many little parts of death can impact everyone else's life. But it doesn't affect you like, as you say, if it's your own son or your own daughter or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any bigger bond than that.
No.
Even with your parents or your brothers or your sisters or anything. Yeah. There's not that sort of bond. It's your own flesh and blood that you've created with someone.
Yeah. No, exactly.
And it's a part of you that's that is going to die or can die.
No, exactly that. Can I just say as well, because obviously we've gone flying in.
Yeah.
I'll jump ahead a little bit. He's in remission now anyway.
He's in remission now, so yeah.
So I just wanted to chuck that in there.
He's had a bone marrow biopsy and they've turned around and said your cancer is clear. You've just got to wait and carry on the chemo and then touch wood, it will be completely, it won't come back. Yeah. That's what they've said.
Yeah. So I wanted to
so that's a happy note.
I wanted to chuck that in there because I was just processing in my head. I'm like, just wanted to clarify that bit and whatever else. So just like, do you mind telling us about that call again? I know you spoke about it.
Yeah, no, of course.
As a dad, I can't comprehend how you hold yourself up. I never ever want that call.
I still now say that I don't hold myself up at all. Yeah. Because it's a fucking killer. Yeah. Obviously, I was waiting for the results of this first bone marrow biopsy before we know what was going on. And he got the results. The consultants phoned him and his mum. And he wanted to phone me. And he phoned me and his first words out of his mouth were, "Dad, I've got leukemia." And that was it. I collapsed. Yeah. I broke down. I couldn't breathe for ages. I just, everything, it was like my whole life went.
I can't even imagine.
No, even now, I can't. Just talking about it, it's horrible. But people need to know you have to talk about it because if you bottle it up, you've had it.
Exactly.
And I think that all the years I've bottled things up came out in that one phone call. Yeah. That one phone call and what he's been through and what I've had to see him go through has changed my whole outlook on life. Yeah. About pretty much everything I used to do. Yeah. About pretty much everything I thought about doing. It just changes your whole life. Yeah. And it was that was probably the worst moment of my life ever. And I've been through some shit in life.
Yeah. No, exactly. I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know how you deal with that.
No.
Whatever else. And obviously, I know you had it's quite recent news about the remission.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, end of last week, maybe halfway through the week before.
So it's still really fresh.
Yeah, that's right.
So you've been dealing with it since February last year?
No, February this year.
Oh, this year.
Yeah. Because of the early detection, it's been sorted. But yeah, so my whole thing has been changed. It ain't a matter of what. February, March, April, May, June, 4 or 5 months. Yeah.
Do you reckon like you've processed or dealt with anything, or?
I think I've dealt with a lot about my past.
Yeah.
Where he's concerned with all this.
Yeah.
It was weird because he helped me process it.
Yeah.
I think if he'd have been, as a lot of blokes are, not wanting to talk about it and just hold it all in.
Yeah.
I think that would have been worse, not only for him, but for everyone around him as well. But when I went up to see him, he was so strong, so mentally strong. I think kids these days, mentally, they're so much more advanced than what we were when we were kids. So he's helped me process everything.
Well, they went for the whole COVID thing as well,
yeah.
didn't they? Yeah.
He's talked me through everything that was going on. And I was going up there pretty much like 3-4 times a week. I was staying up there occasionally and coming back. So he's helped me cope. Yeah. Which is crazy, really, when you think about it. Your child is helping the adult cope.
Do you reckon he needed that?
Yeah. Yeah, I really do, because at first, it's like, when he first phoned me, obviously he was in tears and everything as well, so was what I am. Even now, thinking about it. And I think,
well, you would do that. I was saying earlier on, I remember, like now, I don't remember, it felt like when we were younger.
Yeah.
Even when we were knocking about like the DJ.
That's right, yeah.
It was like there was always a fundraiser for the little kid or little baby who got leukemia. It was like
fundraisers. Everything,
yeah, no, exactly. And now you just don't hear about it.
No, that's right. Yeah.
And that's you just don't hear about it.
No. It's such a scary thought process.
Yeah.
Because all you can associate with cancer and leukemia is death.
Well, sorry, that's what I was trying to go into. No, I was sidetracked. So yeah, the minute that word leukemia is the one where you will die.
Yeah.
To having to comprehend that, hold your son up, as well as holding yourself up, as well as thinking I don't want to trigger you or whatever else. I apologise, but I got my head can't handle that.
No.
And even now I'm struggling to process what's the right thing to say, and you've had to live that.
Yeah.
I'm talking to a mate I've known for 20 years, you know what I mean? And
so I think some of the worst aspects about everything, if you don't talk about it and you don't realise what's going on, is what your mind can do to you. And as I said earlier, like even on the way home, because I have to go past the cemetery, paranoid thoughts in my head about what he's going through and seeing what he's going through. You can flick over and you can look at gravestones that have nothing to do with it, but you can imagine his name on it. And that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
You're not going to bury my son, do you know what I mean? That's the sort of thing that that I had to go through because of what he was having to go through.
Yeah.
You know, and it's that, well, obviously getting back in touch with you, realising there are, and I said to you that I've had no one to talk to.
Yeah.
No one really to discuss it with it, because a lot of my family are the same sort of ilk as what I was up until this happened. Don't talk. They still won't talk now.
Yeah.
You know, and it's all this that's managed to process everything with me and for me, I think. And by being able to talk to my son, and by him being able to see how it's okay to talk.
Yeah.
And it's okay to go through things and be upset and show people. That's a good thing in life for him.
Yeah.
And for me. But it's a good thing in life because he's going to carry that on through his life.
Yeah.
And pass that on. So much of our behavioural life and things like that, even when we don't think about it, get passed through to our kids.
Yeah.
And I could see things he was doing before, like that I used to do. Not necessarily bad things, but you can see your life patterns go like in your kids.
Yeah.
And hopefully he can see that now. Obviously, it's okay to talk.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's all good, man. This is the first dog we've ever had on there.
Yeah.
Not ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
She's a special guest.
It stinks.
Yeah.
The smell's gone a little bit. So
it'll be back in a minute.
No, that's all good. Don't squeeze the belly or anything like that. So, how do you process it though?
I'm going to be honest. Obviously, when it first happened, I turned to things that I used to do years ago.
Well, we were knocking about.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So for a couple of weeks, that's what I turned to.
Yeah.
Just because I couldn't sleep, because obviously every time I closed my eyes, all I could think about was that.
Yeah.
So I needed something to occupy, or I thought I did.
Yeah.
I thought I needed something to occupy my mind to keep everything off that form.
Switch off. I'll get it.
Yeah. So I got up to bits and bobs. Do you know what I mean? To try and take my mind off it. And it weren't until you got in contact.
Yeah.
And I'd been starting to realise that I need to do something. I need to get this out. And the outlet, I think, for me, was getting back in contact with you. And everything else was, my son's so positive about this.
Yeah.
That's what I've got to have.
Yeah.
If he can do it, he's the one suffering from it.
Yeah, true.
He's not going to beat me.
Yeah.
I'm going to beat it. I'm going to live a normal, happy, long life.
Yeah.
And that's what got me through it. They were my outlets, I think. Knowing that I could turn to people and knowing that my son was so confident and positive about everything he was going through.
You kind of owe it to him, innit?
Yeah.
I guess if he's had a second chance, I don't know, is that the right thing?
Yeah, he's definitely.
Yeah.
It is a second chance.
I don't want to think that, I can only say what's going from there. You know me well enough, I don't mean anything.
No, exactly.
But he's had a second chance, and maybe this is another one for you as well.
Definitely.
Really, but it's just...
Yeah.
Just blows my mind how you do it. Expect you. I know like you're doing your marathon.
Yeah.
Because I remember when you first shared that, I was like...
Yeah.
Yeah. But actually, when you started saying stuff, really, and I know you well enough to go, actually, you're stubborn enough to do it. And that's about it. No doubt that you won't.
In my head now, I'm doing the marathon.
Yeah.
You know, when I get something in my head, like things we used to like DJ, anything, you set your mind to it, you're going to do it to the best of your ability.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, and that's the idea of the marathon as well. So I'm starting small.
Yeah.
I've got I've got about 9 months of training to do.
Yeah. But
I'm going to do it. So I've done it before. I've done some things for my ex-wife.
Yeah.
Crohn's disease.
Right.
I've done it for children with...
that's the stomach.
That's right.
Yeah.
I've done it for a thing called SICRA, which is children with Crohn's and colitis.
Yeah.
Another thing that's underfunded. So I've done it for them. That was years ago.
Yeah.
You know, but I've never done any training or nothing like that for them.
Yeah.
But this time...
You might have to train a little bit.
I've already started.
I've seen you doing it. I've seen you
I've already done more than what I did do training for that because I want to do it to the best of my ability.
Yeah.
And I've set myself a time limit. I've set myself 6 hours for the marathon.
Yeah.
You know?
What's the average time on it?
About 4.5, 5.
So you're being realistic.
I'm being realistic, yeah. But bear in mind, I've done a few 10Ks and I've always done them in just under an hour. So I think it's just over 4 of them.
Yeah.
So I'll add a bit on.
Yeah. There's a pub in between as well. Right. But no, so the other film we're on, because I was speaking to a mate, someone else about it, and he said the same response of like leukemia. That's still a thing. And maybe that's an arrogancy thing, but you're right. I don't think there is that much awareness on it. I literally haven't heard of anyone or anything, or not even anyone sharing anything on social media. It's always someone doing some sort of fundraiser. Do you find whenever any time you say about your son's had leukemia, I don't know how many people you told has anyone actually had that same response? Yeah. How does that make you feel? Because that would piss me off.
What about you don't hear about it and things like that? Like
if everyone's saying, "Oh, is that still a thing?"
Yeah,
that kind of undermines it. Even though I've done exactly the same thing.
It doesn't really piss me off because, as you say, you don't really hear about it.
Yeah.
But when you start talking to people about it, the amount of people they know, because people don't talk, you don't know.
Yeah.
Like my aunt's, so it's her niece, she's got leukemia right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then when you go up to the hospitals and things like that and you see people getting treated, you see how many people are affected by this, how many different types, how many people are ill.
Yeah.
But as you say, it's not a thing because people don't talk about it. Yeah. And that's the only reason it's not really a thing.
There's like literally no awareness.
No.
So it's only, 20, 25, 30 years. We're old now.
Yeah.
I just realised this reality check. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm not. Might have well. But yeah, I just remember seeing everyone knew about it.
Yeah.
And now it's just completely and utterly gone.
Yeah.
And there needs to be more awareness. And that's something what I applaud with you as well. You're not doing the whole, obviously there is the fundraiser. Yeah. You're obviously doing it for your son and kudos to you, mate, rather than dabbling in noughties and all this kind of stuff. Because you do owe it to yourself, you owe it to your son as well. No, I hear what you're saying about that. But it's also that awareness as well.
Yeah.
And I think when we share all this, there'll be some bloke out there or some dad, maybe even a mum or whatever, granddad, who's going through the same thing as their kid's got, or granddad or child or whatever, has got leukemia. Yeah. And if no one's talking about
there's so much awareness about other types of cancer. Yeah. Breast cancer, lung cancer, prostate cancer, things like that. But that's only because people have started talking about it a lot more. Yeah. Leukemia cancer, blood cancer, as you say, you don't hear anything of it at all. No. The awareness for that thing that part of the disease is so minuscule, which is why I've chosen to do it for leukemia care.
Does that frustrate you?
Yeah, definitely.
So how much did you have to Google this stuff?
Well, I was told not to Google anything.
Okay, but do it good, wise to say.
Yeah, because I started to, and I thought, that's it, game over.
Yeah.
But when you talk to the consultants, even consultants, don't Google anything.
Yeah.
We'll tell you what's going on.
Yeah.
We'll let you know how we're going to treat it, how the treatment's going. Listen to us and only us.
Yeah.
And they were brilliant.
Yeah.
You know, absolutely brilliant.
That's the thing. And this is one of the things I get it. Mental health in the NHS isn't that great.
No.
It could be better, absolutely. Do I think the NHS is to blame? No, I don't. No. I think it's the higher ups, if I'm honest, but that's a whole different conversation. But this is why we try and promote, actually, rather than sitting there sinking down and down and down and down, getting involved in drink and drugs and whatever else, you need to actually one day go, right, that's not right for me, you take steps. I'm not suggesting everyone goes out doing a bloody marathon. No, but you know what? Get out of the house and get up and do something and help yourself.
Definitely.
I'm a massive fan of the NHS.
Yeah.
People slag off the NHS. Could it be better with mental health? Could it be better in the local A&E?
Yeah.
Probably, but if people stop wasting their time as much, then
exactly,
it will reduce a lot of stuff. But I think I think what I'm trying to say is when things get really serious. When I had my racing accident, like that bike, I hurt myself.
No way.
Like I'm alive because I broke everything, blah, 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 brain injuries and all sorts. He's some leukemia. A chair trustee, Steve, he had lung cancer. I think, I could be wrong, I think he only had months to live and he's been in remission for like years now.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you're going to die or not? We've got to like, get to jail. Exactly, we laugh about it and all this kind of stuff. So when it's really serious, actually the NHS is really
definitely.
refused to. I'm sure they make mistakes. Of course they make mistakes.
But, you know, it's like what we were talking about when he first went into like the local area. Because they're not specific for that or that. They have to look for everything.
Yeah.
So everything takes time. And yes, people moan about things, but it's free.
Yeah.
You know, and once they find out what is going on and what's wrong, they can take you to the exact right place. They can get you treatment. They can do it properly.
Yeah.
You know, so yes, people moan about the NHS, but it's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
And could it be better in a lot of things? Yes.
Exactly. Whatever they do, people can
funding.
Exactly.
You know, just things like that.
Yeah.
I looked up I was starting to get really aggravated about how underfunded they are.
Yeah.
And I googled how much Ronaldo earned in an hour.
I think you shared something.
Yeah, I shared it on Facebook.
Yeah.
So God knows how many thousands or hundreds of thousands an hour.
Yeah.
Which is more than what a nurse that treats serious life-threatening diseases gets it
in a year or so.
In about 2 or 3 years' wages.
It's nice.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know the solution on that type of stuff. No. But this is why with the whole mental health stuff, we openly say resources are shit.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do as a man to try and help yourself?
That's right.
And also to the people around them, if you see a bloke struggling, ask him, what can I do to help you fix yourself? Do you go,
definitely.
Go for a walk. Do something. What do you do? Like, you probably don't know, like the whole mountain. Like, I love keeping on mountains and snow and stuff.
Yeah, I've seen so many bits on Facebook.
I love it, mate. I love it. This is a bit of like being a bloke, like masculine, like sleeping in snow and mine. Of course, there is. Because it's just. To be honest, my wife and my mum said, it's getting away from her sometimes. So very nice up a mountain. And just all I can do is focus on being alive because you can freeze to death.
Yeah.
You've got to get food.
Right.
So it just shuts off my brain.
Yeah.
I guess like you with the whole running and all this kind of stuff. Still blows my mind that you're doing it.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it?
It's
absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
But even like through my work have always done a lot for cancer awareness.
Is that one?
Yeah.
Free advertising.
But they've always done a lot for cancer awareness and things like that. And quite a few people at work, they've either been through certain types of cancer.
Yeah.
So when I was breaking down all the time and then just started to talk to you about and like looking at things, they was really good.
Yeah.
And I don't think any of the other companies I've worked for would have done that because they put their arm around me. They let me break down in tears every 5 minutes. And do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah.
That steel place we worked at wouldn't have, would they?
No.
I won't say the name.
I'll go home.
Yeah, no, exactly. And my roles. But so it sounds like you've also built like a little foundation around yourself as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's taken so long to do as well.
Yeah. How do you mean? What, build a foundation around you?
In life, I think. Because I've never really dealt with anything and talked about anything. All this has helped me deal with so much more.
Yeah.
because of talking to people.
Yeah.
You know, everything is linked with your mental illness or your mental awareness or whatever you want to call it. You know, everything is linked.
So do you reckon, just chuck it out, I'd never say this to anyone else,
Yeah.
do you reckon if this whole, with your boy hadn't happened, do you reckon there'll be one day where you would have probably just stopped?
Definitely.
Because that's. I think
I've been close to it a few times before,
okay.
but I never really realised what was going on.
Yeah, so that's like the tipping point.
Yeah.
The reason I say that, there was a guy, there's a video on MANUP, it's one of the first ones we've done. I've done it with my chair trustee, Steve. There's a guy called Dino, and he was talking about PTSD. I think he was in all the recent wars. So you imagine the shit he's doing.
Yeah.
Obviously, with your brother, you probably
exactly,
because he was over there, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's what's done it.
No, exactly that. But I remember he was saying his tipping point before I think it was culture, his tipping point where they arrested him by the side of a road. I don't want to quote it because I don't want to get it wrong, whatever else. But basically, he went mad. Yeah. And he goes, it was from tipping some sugar in a pot. And and what happened was his wife had bought a bigger bag, but like clockwork, because he's from the military, he just grabbed the bag, filled up the pot because it was empty, throw the paper. But this one was bigger and it tipped all over. Went all over the floor and the dogs got nuts, and that tipped him over the edge. In that video, it was like everyone's saying to me, like, how can a bag of sugar make you go crazy like that? Like you went. It was like it wasn't. It was all of those small little problems, big problems, and all of those problems you just tuck away somewhere. Exactly. Snap. Yeah. Now is it, and that's what I say. So this, in a weird way, is, I don't want to say wake up call because it's your son.
Well, in a way, it's right.
Yeah.
Because it's brought everything to the forefront, and it, as you say, it changed my whole outlook on life.
You're going to be getting roped soon.
Well, I don't know about that, but it's definitely changed my whole outlook on life. Yeah. You know, and obviously, as I said, that when it all first happened, I started to go down exactly the same route I was years ago. Yeah. Just looking for an escape to try and block everything out. Yeah. You know, but you don't need to do that sort of stuff to block everything out. Yeah. You need to talk to someone to get that out, and then you can deal with it. Exactly. Because that's the only way you can deal with it, is when you let it out. If you keep it in your head, I would have snapped. Yeah. And I would have probably ended up dead in about 10 years.
Yeah. No, exactly. And I think with me, I think my racing accident, I think that was one of my major tips. Yeah. Because I was hurt bad. Yeah. So bad and whatever else. I think that was a bit of a reality. I'm going to have to do some massive audio with it. No, but it's fine. These mics are pretty good. But I think that was kind of like my tipping point. Yeah. And when Ben was killed and all this kind of stuff as well, it's just, just something's got to change really.
Definitely.
And obviously jumping onto drugs and all this kind of stuff. I'll be honest, I've had some really good times taking drugs, but to be honest, you still got to deal with the same shit the next day when you've come down. Exactly. It doesn't actually resolve anything at all, it just prolongs everything. Yeah. And again, this is why we try and promote the fight. Find something what helps you sort your head out. Yeah. You don't need to do it all in one go.
No, that's right.
So some journeys take years, months, days, weeks, months, years. Do something to try and sort your head out. And if it's in your case, just offload of raise awareness about leukemia, raise some money towards your son care. Yeah. So even though you don't need to, but you're doing it, it gives you some sort of purpose.
Exactly.
And kudos to you, mate. Yeah. If you're clearing your head all the way along, happy days.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So there's many people around you going, fucking hell, you've changed.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, pretty much everyone I've known is what you're running.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Your whole, I'll be talking to someone about something and it will trigger emotions that...
You know it's 26 miles, right?
Yeah.
Well, okay.
That's what I mean.
I've got no doubt in you. I know how stubborn you are. So.
The funny thing is, even my boy, when I do the running around here, the training, the goals he sets are pretty good because he'll say, right, look at that part of wherever you're going. Yeah. Walk, jog, run, sprint. Set all up in sections because I haven't got to do it in a certain time. Yeah. But I'm going to complete it. Yeah. I know damn well. Yeah, I'm not going to be wheeled over the edge or give up or anything. I'm going to do it, which is why I'm setting myself this long to train, to build myself up, to do it. Because, as you say, it's not just for me. Yeah. I'm not letting anyone, I don't want to let anyone down by saying, I can't do it, I'm not going to do it. This is a promise I've made to myself and everyone that's affected by what's going on. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, no, good on you, man. Yeah. So where were we? Let's draw to a close on that.
Yeah, no worries.
So I don't know. This is that bit where towards the end of the videos, I all say like if anyone's watching this, they can relate to it or whatever else. Yeah. And I don't think that. I think in my head, I don't want that many people to be able to relate to it.
No, exactly.
Because I don't want them to live it.
No.
But there will be, because obviously the title will be like leukemia, they'll be in there somewhere.
Exactly.
I'll do the taggy stuff for your fundraiser and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, I promise to start that. But I think the main thing is if someone's watching this, doesn't matter whether it's man, woman, or these days, or whatever else, and they're living with or got leukemia, like, how the fuck, what can you tell them to do? How can they deal with that?
All they can do.
I know it's not a one-size-fits-all, but what did you do? What can they do? You can't answer it. It's a hard one to answer.
It is so hard. I think it's just you've got to find something to focus on. You've got to be able to talk about it, and you've got to get it out of whatever you're thinking inside. You have to get it out. Yeah. Because like something like that connected with your mental well-being is massive. Yeah. Not that anything else isn't. Something that is life-threatening, that is affecting you, your family, your loved ones. There's thousands, millions of people are probably going through similar things. Yeah. You have to be able to talk about it. Yeah. I know it's an old saying, talking is good, but it is good. Yeah. And I never realised that until a couple of months ago.
No, exactly. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
So everything that you've been through in life, it is just a rehearsal for what you're going to go through. And when you're going through it, if you can talk to someone, they can understand you and they can help you and you can help other people around you. That's the only goal, I think.
No, absolutely. But just one last thing, then we'll draw to a close, probably backtracking a little bit. Steve Bachetro said when he had lung cancer, we've done a whole video about it on the Zoomies or whatever else, and he said that the minute he told everyone he's got cancer, people ignored him.
Yeah.
Did that happen with you? And I've heard that a few times.
No, I think it was only because...
I don't think they ignored him to be horrible. No. They just didn't know how to respond to it.
Funny enough, actually, I say no, that my dad, he pretty much ignored Ernie over it because I never learned any emotions from my dad, so my dad's got no emotion whatsoever.
We're old school.
Exactly. So he was like, okay, Ernie, all right, you've got cancer, yeah? Pretty much. Maybe not so basic, but and Ernie turned to me afterwards, he said, well, Granddad didn't feel like he was bothered at all. Yeah. So maybe that's the sort of impression that your mate Steve got. Yeah. Because people were talking, and they weren't showing anything, and in a way ignoring them, because they don't know how to deal with it.
That's the thing, you don't know what your dad did behind closed doors.
No, exactly.
And that's the thing.
I spoke to my stepmum about it. Yeah. She was really upset about it and everything. I've only seen my dad cry twice. Yeah. Yeah. And that's it. Yeah. So emotional, I've learned from other people. Yeah. And the last few months have taught me how to deal with my emotions.
Yeah, in the right way.
In the right way.
Using this or anything like that.
Exactly.